Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's episode, we'll be making a mouth-watering bitter leaf soup. So stay tuned and watch if you want to learn how to make bitter leaf. First, I would like to introduce you guys to all the ingredients we'll be needing for this soup. We have Opehe, which is known as ogiri, some palm oil, dry fish, stockfish, some cocoyam, which we'll be boiling before making use of it, some bitter leaf, which is already washed already, then goat meat. Then we have pomo here, yellow pepper, shredded onions, some crayfish, 4 nut cube, and some garlic. So these are all the ingredients we'll be needing for this soup. If anyone comes up, I'll introduce you guys to it later. So first thing you need to do is to make sure you wash your pomo very well and the meat you'll be making use of. So I added some garlic, which I've already pounded. I'll be adding onions, then 2 nut cube that I'll be making use of just to make sure the stock is very sweet and also for the meat to have a taste as well. So I'll be making use of 2 nut cube. After adding the nut cube, add as much water as you want. It depends on how plenty you want your soup to be. That's the quantity of water you'll be adding. Okay, because I've chosen to make the soup plenty, I'll be adding more water. I added 1 full teaspoon of salt before covering the meat to cook. After cooking the meat and pomo properly, I set it aside and wash my stockfish before cooking it. Before cooking this stockfish, I wash it with hot water. So just because of the insect, make sure you wash it very well. Then I added some little salt to it just to bring out the taste. Once the stockfish is done, add your dry fish. The reason why you need to boil your stockfish is because it's usually stronger than dry fish. So boil it for some minutes before adding your dry fish. Add some onions, which is optional. I love using onions very well, so if you watch most of my cooking, I do with onions a lot, so it's optional. After adding the onions, then you cover the stockfish and fish for it to cook for some minutes. Then you move to your cocoyam. I already parboiled this cocoyam off camera. But one thing you need to make sure is that the cocoyam is properly cooked, that you can just break it into 2 pieces just by holding it. Once it's done that way, you pound it. You can use mortar or food processor to blend it before adding it to your stock. So after pounding the cocoyam, I brought my meat back to the fire. Make sure it's boiling before I'll be adding the other stockfish and the dry fish together. But before then, I'll be adding some ingredients to the already parboiled meat, which is the yellow pepper, the Opehe, which I mentioned earlier that some people call it ogiri. Why do Yoruba people call it iru? Then I'll be now adding the stockfish and dry fish inside the mixture of the meat just to combine them together properly. So you can give it a stir just to make sure everything combine properly, then before proceeding to the next. Then add your palm oil. Make sure you scoop everything from the plate you'll be using. That's if you're not pouring the palm oil direct, just to avoid any wastage. After mixing all the both ingredients together, just cover it and make sure it's boiling before you open it. So once it starts boiling, I open it, then I add some crayfish to it. I'll be adding 1 nut cube as well. If you add any seasoning cube of your choice at this moment and you discover that the taste is not okay yet, you can add more. You can also add salt, because it all depends on the taste you want. If you want the seasoning cube to come out very well, you can decide to add more, but because the taste is already okay for me, I wouldn't be adding anyone in again. So the 1 seasoning cube is what I need and it's okay for me. So after adding the one seasoning cube, I'll make sure I taste it first before I conclude if it's okay or not. So give it a taste, just make sure it's okay, then I'll proceed to adding my cocoyam. This is how your cocoyam should look like. It should be properly pound. So you can add your cocoyam anyhow you want. You might decide to just throw everything inside, it will still melt, but then I'll be scooping it batch by batch into the liquid, so just to make sure it will dissolve quickly. I discovered that using spoon will waste my time, so I now decide to make use of my hand, which will be more faster. So after scooping everything inside like this, all you need to do is to cover the pot and make sure it boils very well. Once it boils and you open it, you discover that the whole cocoyam and the mixture will combine properly. So you don't need to like make use of water before pouring your cocoyam. All you need to do is just to scoop it inside. Once it's boiling, definitely it will dissolve inside. So cover your pot and wait for it to dissolve. So as you can see, it has dissolved already. There is no cocoyam inside again, so I'll be stirring them together just to make sure there is no any cocoyam left inside again. So after stirring them together, I'll still have to cover the pot for some while. I just want the cocoyam taste to be gone. Let it be properly cooked. Then before I proceed to my last ingredient, which is the bitter leaf. Initially I wanted to make use of small bitter leaf, but because I wasn't feeling too well, I was having malaria, so I just decided to like pour all the bitter leaf because it's the bitter taste that I want. So after adding this first batch and I discovered that it wasn't enough, I proceed to adding more. And for the bitter leaf, you can see the bitter leaf I'm making use of is long. That's because I got it from the market. It wasn't the one I washed myself. So before making use of it, I boiled hot water and pour on it and throw it away. Some people might not like it long the way the bitter leaf is, so you might decide to just use knife to cut it again. So I give it a taste. I discovered that I still needed more bitter leaf, so I just decided to add all the bitter leaf to it. And after adding the remaining bitter leaf, just give it a proper stir, give it a very good stir. Make sure all the bitter leaf, the meat, the pomo, everything is properly combined together. After all the stirring together, I cover the pot and allow it to cook for like a minute before opening it again. So as you can see at this point, the soup is done already. And you can have it with semo, pounded yam, eba. It depends on your swallow of your choice, amala, any swallow you want to eat it with. But I'll be making use of pounded yam for this. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please, if you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and please don't mind my horrible voice. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more video.